Call for an uprising.
Horns growing on young people's skulls. No, like this, but it is actually happening to some young people who are developing horn-like spikes at the back of their skulls, and these bone spurs are caused by constant forward tilt of the head, which is being blamed on, you guessed it, phones.
Look up. Pay attention. Sustained bad posture over a tiny screen could lead to one of these. It does look sort of like a horn, but actually this is a bone spur near the base of the skull. Researchers in Australia examined hundreds of x-rays and found that roughly 40% of people 18 to 30 years old who use their phones more than 4.5 hours a day develop the growth. The likely cause? All that hunching over, sending texts, and checking social media.
Do you find yourself on your phone a lot? Yeah, I'm addicted because it's obsessive and you like that and your body's all like screwed up.
This kind of bone spur is typically something elderly people might develop after decades of bad posture, not young adults.
It's really scary. It's a big find. It's a big sign. It tells us that we're changing. I mean, we're changing the physical aspects of human beings.
Add the horn to a growing list of ailments caused by our tech use, like text neck and texting thumb. So what's the solution? Prop up tablets on a pillow, hold screens higher. Or here's an idea, just put the phone down altogether.
This is a call for an uprising. Welcome to today's show. Kind of ironic, right? The title of this whole story, that people are growing horns on their head because of cell phone use. And yes, they're saying it's because of posture. But it's interesting, this whole thing, right? And it shows you how obsessive and sick our society is because they're just constantly on the device. And they could do something like this, and they could say, listen, people are forming horns, their bodies are now deformative because they're looking down and texting. Let's just put the phone inside the body, and they could look straight ahead and text, and they could talk through their brain. I mean, this is perfect for transhumanism if you ask me. But really, when we talk about this, like the horn growing, and this is like a big story all of a sudden, I love that they don't talk about the cell towers, the 5G, the radiation, or any of that other stuff, because literally people are getting brain tumors because of this technology. And it's funny to me because one of the most mocked videos that people like do on me when they attack me are like, teens, just loser, just horrible channels with, no content. But they're clearly defensive because they're like on their phone 24/7. And they're like, oh, 5G technology is going to kill people. These people are nuts. These people are crazy. I want to be able to download my Nintendo game quicker. And it's like, how could you think that any of this stuff is safe? Just because you can't see the radiation in the air? This is what they should be talking about. But this is also something that shows you how sick and obsessive our culture is with being on their devices. That they're literally getting deformities in their skulls. Now, I believe more so this is from the radiation, to be honest. But they'll say it's from posture. This article says mobile technology transferred the way we live, how we read, work, communicate, shop, and date. But we already know this. What we have not yet grasped is the way the tiny machines in front of us are remodeling our skeletons. Yeah, no crap. And don't forget about those towers out there. It's possibly altering not just the behaviors we exhibit, but the bodies we inhabit. New research in biomechanics suggests that young people are developing horn-like spikes, which again, pretty funny, like devil horns. Pretty funny how this is worded. Don't think that's not a coincidence, because remember, all these people who are doing this to our bodies, from chemtrailing to vaccinations, all the way down, these people all worship the beast. So new research suggests that young people are developing horn-like spikes at the back of their skulls. Bone spurs caused by the forward tilt of the head, which shifts weight from the spine to the muscles and to the back of the head, causing bone growth in the connecting tendons and ligaments. The weight transfer that causes the buildup can be compared by the way the skin thickens into a callus as a response to pressure or abrasion. The result is a hook or horn-like feature jetting out from the skull just above the neck. And now there's a bunch of stories that come out trying to debunk it and debate it. I mean, I don't know if this is technically true. I would imagine it. I mean, it's hard not to think. I don't know if the body can transform like that. I'm not a doctor or whatever. I don't research this kind of stuff. But it does just show you that, if they're debating, like, oh, it is doing this or it's not. That there's clearly just a problem with people being on their devices. But I'm telling you, this is the type of stuff that they can do to socially engineer people into wanting transhumanism and wanting the mark, right? Okay, now your phone's in you. Oh, remember some of the videos I did where people could just think and the words would come up on the computer, stuff like that? I mean, I guess that's not new technology. But just imagine, how people are going to be like running to get this stuff. Like, the new iPhone is on a phone. It's like, they'll call it like IU, right? The all-seeing eye in you. And people will be able to just see everything in front of like a Minority Report or something. They won't have to look down. Then they don't have to worry about their bodies growing abnormal because, God forbid, they just get rid of the phone. And people start living their lives again, interacting with people face to face. Or, playing sports or doing activities, hiking, fishing, whatever. Mowing the lawn, for crying out loud. Picking your nose. I mean, people are just, I don't even know how often go out in public and you see these people. It's scary. When I do go out, I bump into people all the time because they're looking down and I'm just like shaking my head. I'm like, what idiots these people. They don't even care. They can just walk in front of, a car driving, but they gotta get that text down. I'm afraid to even go on the roads. Because I'm serious. Every time I drive anywhere, especially like a highway and you're in the right lane and somebody's poking and you're like, oh, and you gotta get over. And then you see them like swerve and your natural thought is like, oh, this guy's drunk as a skunk. Even though it's 11 in the morning. But then you go by, you pass, you give them a scowl and look in and you just see them looking down at their phone. I'm not kidding you. Last week I was driving and a car was going like 10 under and I passed it. The guy, he was in a regular car, but he had his police uniform on, so he was a cop. And he was texting. Of course, he can get away with that because, the Masonic Brotherhood, they can do whatever they want. Laws don't abide to them, only to us, the going. So anyway, I wanted to share this new study because I thought it was ironic that they're calling it horns. People are growing horns, right, on their heads. But meanwhile, people really are growing things called brain tumors and developing problems with their brains because of these 5G towers that are now being installed. But nobody seems to care about that because anytime a story comes out, everyone's like, oh, these crazy conspiracy people, they think that the 5G towers are going to kill us all. Oh, my goodness. They have no idea. Like they can't fathom why the government would do this to us. And it's basic thinking. No, of course, there wouldn't want to be people who are in control of money, power, everything. No, of course not. That's not human instinct. You go to a job, don't you want to make more money at the job? Right? Most common thing in a job is like, somebody not respecting their boss because they think they can do it better than their boss. Right? Or, oh, so-and-so, makes more money than me, but doesn't do as much work. Well, what's that about? These people control everything. They want to keep dumbing us down with fluoriding the water, with chemtrailing from the skies, dumping aluminum on us. All this stuff, over and over and over. So why would they not use silent warfare like HARP, like 5G, and do all this stuff and weaponize everything they can against us? Because if people could see what was actually going on, they would uprise. They wouldn't allow it. They would be like, yeah, let's let them zap us. But they're doing it in ways where people can't prove anything, at least as far as you can't convince people that they're doing it. You can prove it. You can test the water. But they come out and they go, yeah, there's fluoride in the water. But all those crazy conspiracies about fluoride being bad for you have been debunked. No, they haven't. Why was Stalin putting fluoride in the water? Oh, I forget. Because he wanted people to be weak, tired, lifeless, feeling like hungover every day from water. The most common thing you need in your body. So don't think 5G towers and cell phones in general aren't dangerous, because they are. And they want people on these devices 24/7 for lots of reasons. Not just that, but also obviously so they can always socially engineer them with commercials, with content, with products. And that's the crazy world we live in 2019. I thank you for listening to today's show. Try not to grow horns on your skull, all right? God bless all of you and your families. This is the end of the beginning. Welcome to today's show. I want to thank a subscriber over on the website who posts great stuff, who goes by the name of Nisi, for sharing this with me. I figured I'd share it with everybody out there because this is just another way to indoctrinate people. And that's this board game called Carbon City Zero. Sounds like fun, right? It's only the gayest game ever created. And by that I mean happiest, because it's great. It's a game that actually can cause the hell on earth that they're literally trying to cause right now. It's a game based on Agenda 2030. So it's a way to indoctrinate your kids. And of course, they'll be very slow human beings who get this game and start brainwashing their children with it. It's a version of Monopoly, just the opposite actually, because there's no capitals involved. It's a game of control. And we're going to play it together. But first I'll read you the plot of the game. Or we're going to play it together. I'll show you a walkthrough of it so we can all make fun of it and cringe, as you know, one only can when they hear this description of the game. The description is, as a newly appointed city mayor, you've been tasked with creating a carbon-neutral city. Sounds fun. It sounds easy, it says, but you'll soon discover that your carbon budgets are hard to balance. Can you hit the zero carbon target before your rivals? The race to become the first zero carbon city is on. Carbon City Zero is a deck building game for 2 to 4 players in which players develop a sustainable city by building factories, managing people, lobbying government ministers, and raising public awareness. Folks, it's the ultimate propaganda game. Each player starts with an identical draw deck and a carbon level of 40. Do they have the carbon footprint? We'll find out. The carbon footprint here. Buying additional cards from a shared marketplace to create a more sustainable city, balancing the need to generate income and reducing carbon. Players can follow numerous paths to victory, creating synergies between government, industry, and domestic sectors while winning. It sounds like fun, right? Something that the kids would love. Can you imagine, like, if you walked in to a friend's house and there's like 4, 30-year-olds playing this game? I mean, I wish I could say what I would actually do, but I'll get a strike for violence or something probably. So together, let's all walk through the game from this video that was shared on the website by Nisi. It is Carbon City Zero. Here we go. All right, so you see it. It's got a little bit of a theme like the game of life. We got cards, local, increasing funding. Of course, we have to make sure we have, okay, everybody of every nationality, of course, to be included. Okay, we've got a guy raking. Oh, right, we've got, oh boy, carbon tracker. And you got to get all the way to the middle of the circle. Isn't it interesting that the circle is like is the mind control thing, right? You're getting there. See, public awareness. Okay, what do we got? Stock exchange. We got charging points. We got our EV. Biogas. I don't know what that said. Charging point, public awareness. All right. So I guess it's talking about crashing the stock market. Cost to buy the card, right? So you have your carbon allowance in here. Remember, everyone's gonna have the same allowance. You're all gonna have the equal income because there's no more discrimination. You know, of course, this won't apply to the elites and the rich. I mean, this is a total snooze. I mean, if you're debating this, playing this game, you might as well debate getting all your teeth removed because this is about the same. Oh my goodness, global opportunities. What do we got? Behavioral control. I just saw behavioral control of the card. Hopefully they show it again in full. So take a screenshot of that. Not behavioral change. There it is. Increase the marketplaces. So here we go. They're already talking about behavioral change. People don't realize that. It's about controlling how you behave, including your speech. They'll tell you that if you question the government, you know, it's costing you your carbon emissions. You're going to get taxed for wasting breath. All right, we got greenwashing, global recession. These are all things actually caused by this climate agenda. Bad press. Something there. Draw, deck, recycle pile. All right, we got a choo-choo train going through a hole. And sums this game up. We have a shared marketplace, of course, because everything's sharing in this communist government. Sharing's caring, including your wife. We have a discard. We have global. I mean, can you believe somebody made this? Did our government make this? Oh, here's the little booklet on all this stuff. Global summit, government uncertainty, global summit. So they're even promoting, they're promoting pretty much the Bilderberg meetings and all those in Davos. They place your mayor at 50 on the card. I mean, this is the most ridiculous game. But you don't like the game. You don't like this game because you don't understand it. Who would want? I do fully understand it. This is the exact opposite of what the climate agenda is. Oh, here's your budget. Might as well set fire to the cash because that won't exist. I'm surprised they don't show crypto or digital currency. Game might be a little dated. Stock exchange. Okay, we got the arrow there. I mean, boy, oh boy. This is nothing more than indoctrination, of course. And this is even for the people who, don't even understand. Like, they're just going on aboard with climate change, and obviously they'll never really understand because the libs will not get it. They'll go on board with whatever they're told. But this will give them even more of an indoctrination, not just them, but their kids, who of course they'll teach this to. So we have news, net zero hub, a large factory. Car share, ladies and gentlemen. Car share. You can all get in the car together and share the car, and that'll be great for the climate. Of course, it'll be an electric car. While building the marketplace, discard any snag cards, or at least snag, poor communication, funding cuts, corruption. Well, this whole thing is corruption. Smells like a pile of dookie, if you ask me. We got 1, action, 2, recycle, 3, draw. I'd like to recycle this entire game, to be honest with you. Right in a fire pit. Let those carbon emissions seep into the atmosphere. Poor housing stock. Well, we better get everybody into a smart city. It's pretty much the way what the game is about, right? Is that how the game ends? They just announced that we're going to go into the smart city or the line in Saudi Arabia? Poor transport. Oh, yes. Poor transport. Getting in a car that emits carbon emissions. Yet, so how are they getting energy for the electric vehicle? What about the lithium battery? Is that safe for the environment? No, it's not actually. People's houses are catching fire from having electric vehicles just parked inside. You don't hear that on the news, of course. Don't worry about that. They know people are so dumb they'll see those stories anyway and still go get an electric vehicle. Don't worry if your house blows up or your family dies in the car because it's a lithium battery that's exploding. I mean, this has got to be the worst global opportunities. Let's call it globalism, global funding, and global collaboration. Why don't you just put the World Economic Forum up there? Put their logo. Right? I mean, it is their game probably. New building regulations, of course, that has to do with turning your entire home into a smart home so that they can control it. People are like, oh, it's for convenience. All right, so they can control your air conditioning, your locks, everything. Turn off your air, turn off your heat, turn off your oven, your stove, everything. Don't you get it? Public awareness. No, nobody's going to be aware, of course, if they watch this game. They'll be completely brain dead. Insulate buildings, right? Because they want, oh, your building could just heat itself up from the sun. But then, of course, we're going to block the sun, right? Nobody put anything together yet, connecting the dots. We want everything to be solar. But we're also looking at ways we can block the sun. Oh, boy. That doesn't, I mean, do you need common sense to figure that out? I mean, I don't even think you need that to figure it out. If everything's going to be based off the sun, and they're going to block the sun, which they've just talked about openly, what do you think's going to happen? You think you're going to be able to get to point A to point B? Oh, you're going to be in a cell, okay? And some people are probably like, well, at least it's my house and it's not a prison cell. Well, what's the difference? I mean, this game is really moving along, folks. Somebody on a bicycle, right? They want you all to ride a bike, like that woman who showed up at the meeting. I think I mentioned, oh, there's monarch butterflies in there. That's great, too. There it is. They're showing you the mind control. The woman who showed up at the meeting in a private jet, someone, government meeting, and then jumped off the jet and then got into a car and then got out of the car and got on a bike to make it look like she was going to the event on a bike. I mean, it's such a joke. I can't believe that the liberal people don't look at this stuff and then, say, hey, this is ridiculous. I mean, they're so brainwashed. It's incredible. Yeah, it looks like the line, anyway. We got the global sun. Okay, so it looks like that's the game. Nobody knows what in the world they just saw. I'm sure if you're watching right now, you're like, what did I just see? Well, nobody knows what they just saw, other than, of course, massive propaganda, a major way to brainwash people who are already brainwashed. Condition them a little bit more, right? Everything's pretty much the opposite of what the game says. The red cards were like the negative cards. Those were cards that are probably like conspiracy theory, people questioning the media. They're negative, right? Put them in the burn pile. And everything else, of course, they're like, oh, share this, let's share the car, let's share our food, which I'm okay with, I guess, in some senses, until crap hits the fan and some, person with blue hair comes to my door asking for a sandwich or survival food. Next thing you know, they want to share your wife, and then when that's not enough, let's share your kid. So that's where all this stuff goes anyway. In a communist society, these people actually think that they want it. Pretty incredible. I say just ship them all to China. But of course, they're not actually into the carbon stuff over there. That's a way for the rest of us to get on board with a communist society. Eventually, they'll just be like, oh yeah, the environment's fine. You're trapped. Bye. Ta-ta. We're taking off on our Learjets and having each be on our own island, every one of us. This guy owns Maui. Biden owns, Polynesian Islands. I don't know. But anyway, folks, you just saw what hell on earth looks like. That board game. Literally hell on earth. But these are the types of things that they're pushing out there now. The days of Tiddlywinks and Duck Duck Goose. And, what are some of the other card games that I used to play as a kid, right? Old Maid. Those days are gone. The newest board games, because people think that they're so intelligent, are just games that are strictly 100% propaganda and mind control. This has got to be the worst game ever created in the history of humanity. I thank everyone for being here. Hope you're all doing well. Let me know what you think of the game in the comment section below. God bless all of you and your families.
This is a call for an uprising. Welcome to today's show. Apparently, everybody is just walking on water these days. We're seeing the symbolism, the mocking of Jesus Christ, the King of Kings, all over the place right now. Walking on water seems to be a trend that's going on recently in music videos with Eminem to Selena Gomez. And I'm going to show you why, how, and what they're trying to do, which is mock Jesus Christ. For people who certainly go out of their way to say that the Bible's not real, that it shouldn't be in schools, that it should be removed from libraries, that it's a work of fiction, they sure do spend a lot of time referencing the Bible, referencing Scripture, referencing Jesus Christ, mocking Jesus Christ, going out of their way to mock Christians and Jesus Christ in their music videos, in their sketches on television, from late night hosts like Stephen Colbert to all these low-life stand-up comics. They just go out of their way, but they tell everybody out there, well, the Bible's not real. If people can only see, well, why are they referencing it so much? Why are they mocking, going out of their way? They're not mocking Buddha. They're not mocking any other quote-unquote religious figure. They're just mocking Jesus. They're mocking Christians, and they're mocking Scripture, but they're also referencing it over and over. Now, this walk on water trend suddenly has just kind of come out of nowhere, where there's multiple references to walking on water, from new songs by 30 Seconds to Mars, which I'll cover, as well as Eminem's song with Beyonce. This is referencing and mocking Matthew chapter 14, verses 22 through 33. And straightway, Jesus constrained his disciples to get into a ship and to go before him unto the other side while he sent the multitudes away. And when he had sent the multitudes away, he went up into a mountain apart to pray. And when the evening was come, he was there alone. But the ship was now in the midst of the sea, tossed with waves, for the wind was contrary. And in the fourth watch of the night, Jesus went unto them walking on the sea. And when the disciples saw him walking on the sea, they were saying, it is a spirit, and they cried out for fear. But straightway Jesus spake unto them, saying, Be of good cheer, it is I, be not afraid. And Peter answered him and said, Lord, if it be thou, bid me come unto thee on the water. And he said, Come. And when Peter was come down out of the ship, he walked on the water to go to Jesus. But when he saw the wind boisterous, he was afraid, and beginning to sink, he cried, saying, Lord, save me. And immediately Jesus stretched forth his hand and caught him, and said unto him, O thou of little faith, wherefore didst thou doubt? And when they were come into the ship, the wind ceased. Then they that were in the ship came and worshipped him, saying, Of a truth thou art the Son of God. Now, mainstream media, of course, always is going out of their way to mock Jesus Christ. So we'll start with Walk on Water, coincidentally, right? Of course, coming out recently along with these other songs, these other references and music videos too, Walking on Water, mocking Jesus Christ. We have Eminem and Beyonce mocking our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Are we supposed to believe that this is a coincidence that 30 Seconds from Mars and Eminem come out with a song with the same title? Now, 30 Seconds from Mars is the band that Jared Leto is a part of. I've covered him before. This guy is as satanic as it gets, from the people he associates with, to the markings on his flesh, which show you, to the blatantly obvious, Illuminati symbolism we see with him all the time, holding up the 666, the devil horns, always doing this stuff, to the lyrics, to the logo for his band, which has the pyramid. It's all there with Leto. He has the song Walk on Water, which came out this year. Eminem has the song. Do you think maybe their publicists would have got together and said, hey, probably shouldn't have a song with the same title, because then people will get confused. Eminem's a big star. He's got the same name. It's like 5 people coming out with the same song called Born in the USA, right? Aren't you always going to think of the Bruce Springsteen song? Why would musicians use the same titles of their songs? Why would they use the same symbolism in these songs? Talking about, referencing, showing, walking on water. And remember, these are people who don't believe in Jesus Christ, don't believe in the Bible. So why are they talking about? Why are they doing it? Because they're mocking us. That's what they do. And they're showing and they're telling you, listen, we know this is a war between good and evil. This is them versus us. This is Satan versus our Father in heaven. And you see here, Selena Gomez comes out with a song called Wolves, right? And you see the title here, Walk on Water. Look at Selena Gomez, Walk on Water in her video for Wolves. Wolves, what's that referencing? Wolves in sheep's clothing. That's what Gomez is. That's what most of these female musicians who go through the Disney or Nickelodeon system are. They're wolves in sheep's clothing. They pretend to be Christian. They pretend to start, when they start off, oh, they're good, clean-cut Christian girls. That, the kids' parents let them watch and listen to them. And as the kids grow up and the musician grows up with them at the same time, they start taking a turn. They start going dark. And they follow. They're influenced by these musicians and what they do. That's why you see Katy Perry's quote-unquote transformation. You saw with Britney Spears, all of them. All these kid stars, right? Justin Timberlake goes from NSYNC to being, edgy pop singer, solo act. Hard, hard as in he's a tough, a bad dude, and he's no longer the soft cookie cutter boy band guy. I mean, it's all part of the show, how they transform the people who listen to their audience into following them, right? And following, how they start dressing, how they start talking, how they start changing. And the thing that they'll always leave behind, whether they start off talking as if they're Christian, is as they go on and on and on, hit their 20s and stuff, they're no longer talking about Jesus, right? Like we saw Katy Perry talking about getting away from Christianity. Christianity, made her feel, guilty that she wanted to kiss a girl or can't. All this stuff, it's all planted, it's all mind control, and it's all there for a reason. So Selena Gomez, within the same week, that Eminem comes out with a song called Walk on Water with Beyonce, within the same pretty much month, because the music video for 30 Seconds to Mars with the same exact song title, Walk on Water, on their page here says published November 8th, 2017. So this came out, a week, 2 weeks ago? So they have Walk on Water, Eminem has Walk on Water, Selena Gomez is literally in her video, not really walking on water, but pretending to walk on water, a song called Wolves, Friends of Wolves in Sheep's Clothing. Yet people think that this stuff isn't real, right? They're like, oh, it must have been a coincidence for a bunch of people who are supposed to be artistic and artists, right? We're supposed to look at them and go, oh, they're so artistic, they're so wonderful, they're so creative, right? And then we see what? The same stuff, right? The same symbols in the videos, whether it's the pyramids, the all-seeing eye, the same type of song titles, all of it. For a bunch of people who are supposed to be creative, they sure do use the same stuff over and over. So somebody will go, well, why do they do that? Because repetition is the key to mind control. Using repetition, constantly showing you this stuff, constantly referencing these things. That's what they do. Jared Leto, a guy who is an occultist, a sick human being who's associated with people who are connected to pedophilia. Okay, you can see him with Terry Richardson. Terry Richardson is a sick person who has links to filming a lot of snuff films, being involved in Bohemian Grove, amongst other things. You can see for yourself photos of this guy and the stuff. I mean, it's just sick. And Leto is, best buddies with him, just like these other guys like Johnny Depp. They're best buddies with, Hunter S. Thompson and Marilyn Manson. Right? And all these guys who are all connected to one another, all of them using the same signs, the same symbols, the same references to the Bible. It is not a coincidence. And they're doing this right now, this referencing to Walk on Water, not just to mock Christians. There's an agenda behind it, clearly. And they're brainwashing people into trying to make Jesus appear like he's not a god, that he's just a mere man, and humans can walk on water. I mean, it's amazing how people don't see this stuff for what it is. And they literally get convinced that atheism's real, that evolution is real, all of this stuff. When the enemy out there openly, these people who go, God's not real, Jesus isn't real, yet they're constantly talking about him, they're constantly referencing him. They're constantly using repetition to plant these seeds in people's heads, showing you these symbols, and nobody's going, why are they using the same stuff? Huh? Anyone know why they're using the same symbols? If they're artists, shouldn't somebody have called Eminem and 30 Seconds from Mars and said, hey, you guys come out with the same song title in the same month of the year, right? And you're both, pretty prominent. 30 Seconds from Mars isn't as known as Eminem and Beyonce, obviously, but they're known. They have 4 million views on this video, or 3 million views, 3 or 4 million. So when somebody say that, it's like me coming out with a song tomorrow, hey, I wrote the song, it's called Born in the USA, but it's got different lyrics than the Bruce Springsteen song. Oh, what a wonderful artistic idea, huh? Makes absolutely no sense. It's there to mock, and now we're seeing it. We're seeing it. Gomez, Eminem, Beyonce, Jared Leto, 30 Seconds from Mars, all in this 1 month period, all of them just randomly deciding to walk on water. This is deliberately, strategically done. Give me a break. I thank you for listening to today's show. God bless all of you and your families.
This is the Eye for an Eye channel. Welcome to today's show. This is a very difficult video to try to get around to cover because, of course, it's so sad and tragic that a Hollywood actor, Matthew Perry, who nobody out there probably knows, suddenly passed away at the age of 54, and I couldn't think of what could have possibly happened. I mean, we've obviously seen Matthew Perry, for those of you that are familiar with him. I actually wasn't familiar with this tweet that he put out, this Instagram post. I am familiar with the TV show Friends, but he did put out some posts like everybody in Hollywood did because all of these low-level Freemasons are all ordered to do what they're told. That's why every one of them was told to push this thing instead of actually being a little bit self-aware about what it could potentially do to their career. Because if anybody was aware of their career, they would avoid politics, they would avoid religion, they would just go out there and do their acting. And especially when it came to the magic potion, they probably would have ignored it. But these people just don't seem to care. And that's why Matthew Perry had this really interesting tweet that he put out, or Instagram post, excuse me, back in back in the day, so to speak, where he had a shirt that he was selling. And it says, "Could I be any more magic potion?" Well, Matthew, apparently you could be. Because, well, I guess apparently you couldn't be at this point because, well, I don't know if you could personally take it anymore because clearly your body stopped kicking. Now, of course, I'm not blaming it on that. That's just a mere coincidence. But what I do want to point out is multiple things in looking at this, researching this after the fact, because I wasn't even aware of it. And a friend of mine, Gary, had sent me the picture of him with the shirt, and I was like, oh, okay, what's the big deal? Oh, he perished. He passed away. So when I look on Matthew Perry, it's very interesting some of the stuff that comes up because it actually sums up everything that's wrong with the world. But the first thing we all should take into account, he died Saturday night, October 28th, and within minutes, Yahoo, Rolling Stone, all of the mainstream media, I mean minutes, literally released well-crafted articles that say, quote, "Twisted anti-magic potioners rush to blame Matthew Perry's death on the magic potion." So when this happens, they always have these things in place, right? Why would they even bring attention to this? Like, it's not like this was blasted on Fox News or anywhere. Well, Fox News doesn't even get views anymore, but it wasn't put anywhere where anybody would notice or think of that. But they just love to put this out immediately. Why? Because they know how this works on people's minds. It automatically gets them to deflect anyone who says anything about this or brings up any coincidences to someone who's 54 years old suddenly perishing. So I'm gonna get into the article about how they're already spinning propaganda about this. And I want to mention two things. Number one, a lot of people out there go, "Hey man, if these people are all in on it, they're not really taking the potion." Well, there's truth to that because a lot of certain people aren't. But low-level actors, low-level Freemasons, remember they're at different degrees inside of their secret societies. It doesn't mean that they're in the know. It doesn't mean that they're all not going to be affected or they're all told, "Hey, don't take this." They don't care about minions even in their own secret societies. Does Satan actually care about people doing his bidding? No, he does not. So it doesn't surprise me. I mean, I know people are going to argue that, I don't think he really had it or not. Well, I believe that he did, and I believe that obviously these are the types of things that happen, but of course they'll bring up that this guy had addictions, etc., etc. And when I researched this and I put Matthew Perry's name in YouTube to see if he did any interviews about the potion before I saw, or after the fact that I saw that he had that tweet up, the first video that comes up, I'm going to play it. Because this is exactly everything that's wrong with humanity, with our society. And that is a YouTuber that somehow has 1 million subs. I'm not going to even get into how that's humanly possible, but it's everything I talk about how grown men behave like children. And the fact that we're heading towards World War III, and anyone out there doesn't think so, it's completely insane. These are the types of people that are supposedly civilians on, that would be or should be on our side. This is how they're behaving and acting. So you can't tell me when you see this video, because the guy starts to cry. He admits that he never met Matthew Perry. And I'm only showing you this because this is the video that came up first in searching this guy's death, which means they want this out there. This is the type of behavior that spreads because all the people in the comment section, everybody's heartbroken over someone they've never met, over someone that's not even a part of their lives, but they think that they're a part of their lives because they're under a psychosis, right? This is what we should be looking at as mental health problems when people are weeping over a celebrity dying in a hot tub, right? We should look at that and we should say to ourselves, there's something wrong with that because it's not normal. It's not normal at all for grown men to even feel this way, to be telling everyone their feelings on it, to be saying that the person that they never met changed their lives, and then just break down and cry. Take a look at this trending, or at least being promoted through the YouTube algorithm. This sums up everything wrong with humanity right now.
Yeah, Matthew Perry has apparently died at the age of 54 years old, and there's looking more into it of what led to this apparent drowning. And needless to say, I'm pretty messed up about it at the moment. And I just wanted to say a few things to remember him. In case you guys don't know, we've watched this channel for a while. I've stated many times, I've even worn Matthew Perry on my shirt several times on the channel, is Friends is my all-time favorite show. I've obsessively watched it many, many times, rewatched it. And when I was like a little kid, I realized very early on that I was an extremely depressed child. There's no other way to put it. I knew it. Like had a lot of severe depression. I was born in 1990. And Friends was a show that I really credit for helping to shape a lot of my personality. But it was mainly Chandler. Like, there are two personalities I credit for helping to shape my personality, and it was Conan O'Brien and Chandler Bing, because I saw that there was a way as a coping mechanism, especially for Chandler, to use humor, especially with like going to school and being able to socialize with people. I naturally adopted it in like the self-deprecating side as well. And so this is a real life tragedy that it just feels silly. It sounds kind of goofy to say because I obviously never met this guy. I've never even seen him in person. But I really feel like this man helped save my life when I was a kid, like a lot. And I even love following his other work. Like the whole 9 yards, whole 10 yards. I even really liked to watch both of them in side by side theaters. I love Fools Rush In growing up, and I even watched Studio 60 because of him. Because he was the reason I watched that show. I didn't even know who Aaron Sorkin was at the time. That was the reason I watched that show. Even seen him in 17 again and other things like this Odd Couple show. And yeah, I really like a lot of his personal life and public life stuff has really been on the forefront and on display in a lot of his real life struggles. But I really feel like he brought a lot of joy to a lot of people, and especially in my life. I really feel like he helped shape me a lot. And as goofy as it sounds, because it was just some kind of TV for me, the dude actually meant a lot more to me than just that. And I just wanted to say thank you for everything you brought us, and thank you for helping save my life when I was a kid. And I hope you're in a better place now. And if the comments could just it'd be cool, just share some love and the relevancy, everything you remember about this guy. Because it feels weird because like I said, I don't know the guy, but it definitely made an impact on me, and I don't feel like I'd be here today. I'm gonna just cut it off right here. But yeah, I did want something to remember him because he was a big shining light in my life. That's all. Share down like what you love most about it. It's like even when I was like pacing around outside, just like kind of naturally just will think of jokes in like uncomfortable moments. And when I shouldn't be thinking of jokes, I know a lot of that comes from Chandler. Just like making jokes at the most inappropriate times and just thinking about like how I was feeling. I was pacing around. It's just stupid out loud to myself. I was like, could I be any more sad right now? It's like that kind of thinking is yeah. Anyway, all right, I'm done. Rest in peace, Matthew Perry. I hope his friends and family are doing okay right now. And please share in the comments what you love most about him, and if he helped shape you at all too growing up in the 90s.
So this is idol worship at its finest. Right now, I don't cheer or applaud if someone perishes, but I've noticed a trend in today's society of this ultimate fear of death. I feel even Christians are fearing this, and I feel that when we talk transhumanism, we talk the mark of the beast, and we talk about people living forever. That's another narrative that needs to be out there. We see even Christians who are fearing death. Now, I'm not saying that I want to drop dead by any chance, because if you say something like that, then they automatically mark you on a list of people who are ready to harm themselves, have mental health issues. But, I'm fine being alive and dealing with this war that's going on and fighting this every single day, but I don't fear death because I know what comes after. These people don't know what comes after, and they've been brainwashed into believing all these things like, they get put into the earth and then they come back as a cat or a dog or all this insane crap that they actually believe and think is science, and then they call us all insane even though everything is biblical and we can see everything biblical around us, and of course we know that they've hidden a lot of biblical locations on the earth because they don't want people to actually realize that God is real. So this is idol worship at its scariest, right? This is when we see people out there who are completely breaking down over someone on a television screen. This is the definition of hypnosis, being under hypnosis. This is the definition of being obsessed with people that they don't even know. And this is what they've done to all society. So you can look at that guy, look in the background, right? He's got all the typical things you would see with these people that, obviously, like, you could look at him and you could identify that he's a Democrat, right? He's a liberal, which is scary, just based on the fact that he's into all this childish stuff. And that's what they've done through infiltration of communism in our society. They've turned adults into children, which means when war comes, that none of these people will be ready to go to war, but they will be ready to attempt to rob you and push you to your limits of trying to get things off of you, or thinking that they deserve this and they deserve that, because that's what the behavior we see in children, right? A little kid wants a cookie, can't have the cookie, breaks down and cries, he wants the cookie. These are adults acting the same exact way. And I can't emphasize that enough. People out there probably say, hey, you're being a little hard. No, I'm not. This is exactly what's wrong. At a time where we need men to rise up, because if you actually act like in other time periods, this wouldn't have, the stuff they're doing right now wouldn't have started a revolutionary war. You're out of your mind. Just the lone censorship of free speech would have started a revolution of some type. Not to mention all the other crap that they're doing with children and castration and infiltration, even more so in the school systems, into people's homes, how they say they want to be in your home, how they'll remove kids from your home if you don't let them cut off their wang. All this insane crap should have started a revolution by now, and it's not, because of people like this. Because this is what we live amongst. 40, 30-year-old men who have the bat signal on their shirt, who have all these back, and there's nothing against, I mean, I get it, like, the period we grew up, you're like, might like a movie and all this stuff. This is a little bit much, right? In the background's got dolls. I mean, a little bit, right? Like, you have a movie poster. I don't, I'm not gonna say you're gonna be a child if you like something. I get it. Everybody's, I grew up and I like sports. Okay, I mean, I don't look at it the same anymore, but doesn't make me better than anybody else. It's just a matter of perspective. When you get older and you need to become a man, you need to become an adult, especially at times like this when war is coming to us. This is what we're up against. This is the mindset we're up against. These people don't even see anything wrong with what's going on in the world. This is their concern. Matthew Perry dying in a hot tub. Would you have seen Matthew Perry in anything since Friends? No. I mean, we're talking about seeing him in Fools Rush In. I mean, are you kidding me? You know what I mean? Like, are we gonna you see what you weep every time you see somebody from your favorite movie die? You act like they were your cousin. But the point of me covering this is it shows you the hypnosis. And I talk about this with Twitter and Instagram, etc., where these people constantly post like all this stuff sounding like, so trying to sound and act like these celebrities as if they know them. Like Kim Kardashian put up a tweet or an Instagram post, and people in the comment section talk as if they know her. Like, great post, Kim. You think Kim's reading? You think Kim knows? What they're doing is they're grooming your behavior. It's about behavioral control and behavioral grooming, and they're making you act like you know these people and putting you in a deep psychosis. So right now, this is a major concern that I have with society. And this video just sums up. This is what I've been thinking about over and over again. Is what are we going to face here? And where are the men? Okay, where are the men when crap hits the fan? Where are the men to protect women? These are the type of people that think that women should be on the front lines, probably, right? Or they'll say, oh no, they don't need to be on the front lines, but women and men are equal. And it's like, well, women and men are equal, but physically they're not equal. That's basic science, right? A man is bigger, built differently than a woman is, right? Right now is a time period where men need to be men and act like men and be the voice of reason, be able to take care of their families, and be able to take care of and keep our government in check. Because really, that's what the Second Amendment's about. What we're seeing right now is a government gone rogue all around the world. And we can think of other countries, we know that they're unarmed. Here in America, the problem is that there's so many of us, but there's so many people like this guy. And so many people like this guy are going to be at your front door. So many people like this guy are going to be supporting and are currently enabling the psychotic government to do the things that they're doing. Because they see them and they're like, it's not as bad as Trump. And Trump obviously is just as bad because he's one of them. But the bully thing, that kind of mentality. It's like, it's just called being, grow a pair, have a spine. Nobody does. So I wanted to throw that in because that's the first thing that comes up. And then all the comments is everybody else, I'm weeping, I haven't slept last night. Huh? You haven't slept last night because the guy from Friends who you've never met from a show that aired 30 years ago died in a hot tub at the age of 54, who proudly supported some type of poison going in his body, and you're, huh? Are we all right? Is everybody out there okay? Clearly not. So back to the other part of the story, which is the magic potion, right? Another person who openly promotes this, who's 54. People at 54 don't just drop dead, but of course they're going to say, oh, he was an addict and all this stuff, and oh yeah, right? But he was also promoting something that, they clearly want this article out there because they know that the second that these people who promoted it instantly have something happen to them, that they need to have this type of propaganda out there so that people automatically don't ask questions and become suspicious of 54-year-olds dropping dead. I always say this about kids who are autistic. Or, I've talked in the past to some of you in my chat, I talked about that show, The Good Doctor, and what we've seen in our society is promoting children who are autistic. Now, you have to hear me out because people automatically put up a wall. They're like, well, why shouldn't we? Their kids do, etc. Instead of going, hey, it's not normal for kids to be autistic. It's not normal. This isn't something that's normal. Just like it's not normal for men to not be able to make babies with their wives anymore. Okay, the reason that they promote it is they want you to think that it's normal for kids to be born autistic because they don't want you to realize why they're born autistic. They don't want you to look up at the sky or look at the label on your food, or most specifically look at the things that newborn babies have injected into their bodies. So they put shows out like The Good Doctor, and then everyone's like, oh, he's autistic. It's normal. And I'm not saying that the autistic child doesn't deserve love or compassion. Of course, it's normal to care about the child, but we shouldn't be accepting that. We shouldn't be going, oh, it's normal, because it's not normal. These types of numbers of children who were born this way, it's not normal. Okay, it's because of the things that they're putting in these children's bodies. And you're like, oh, well, we used to get those shots. It's not the same thing. It's not even close to the same thing. And they're also dumping soft metals on us from the sky. So that's a mindset that we have. And that's what they're trying to ingrain in people now. With any of these people who dropped dead at 50, oh, that's normal. 50-year-olds drop dead. Is it? Just like all the athletes who dropped dead, they're like, yeah, it's just sudden syndrome of these people dropping dead. And they throw this propaganda out, written within hours of the person perishing. This thing didn't even get a chance. Now, this says exactly here. It says, Matthew Perry, who charmed audiences across the globe, playing Chandler Bing on the show Friends, was reportedly found dead on October 28th. This article came out on October 28th. At his Los Angeles home from an apparent drowning. Law enforcement officers confirmed to Rolling Stone he was 54, and LAPD spokesman said police responded at 4:12 this afternoon. Okay, so they responded at 4:10 this afternoon, excuse me. The story probably came out a few hours later, like Eastern time, maybe 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock. This article was written at 10 o'clock. So how is anti-potion people rushing to blame anyone? I mean, of course, people with a brain automatically started thinking that. But it's not like this is some national story where people are outside protesting and walking with signs saying, Matthew Perry, what a couple people tweeted about. So they knew when this happened that he had promoted it over and over again, then he dropped dead, and they want to make sure that people out there still go and get it over and over again, because that's how all of this works. So the article goes on to say, when the news of Perry's passing broke Saturday afternoon, a number of prominent right-wingers on X, including Candace Taylor, a former Republican candidate for governor of Georgia and current GOP chair of Georgia's 1st congressional district, were quick to blame the actors perishing on the potion. I love when the Republicans come out and they start doing this stuff. They were all on board with the potion, by the way. So was Fox News. Now they're trying, because they need to keep you lured into the left, right. So the Republicans are out there playing smart. I guarantee you Candace Taylor's got a potion. I guarantee all of them do. Okay? I guarantee you that the only reason that they're mentioning this stuff is because they want to gain your trust and support, which is a fact, which is what Fox News do. Fox News are the same people telling their audience, their elderly audience specifically, that they need to do the smart thing for themselves and go out and get it. And it wasn't after about 8 months to a year that they started going, well, it shouldn't be forced on people. It's not really fair because they saw the pushback. And they don't want to lose the audience that they have sucked in because they continually need to hurt them, like we're seeing right now with Bagelville. So they go, not a conspiracy when it's truth, is what the woman tweets out. And of course, the shirt, right? And the guy tweeted, could I be any more potion? Get your shot and then your shirt. Shop the entire collection at Matthew Perry's store, which is, I mean, Matthew Perry's store, okay? Did he have a heart attack in the jacuzzi and drown? Well, clearly something along those lines. What are you going to tell me, Kelsey? But it doesn't matter one way or the other. What matters is we have to always watch how the media responds to stuff like this. What they take, what they run with, all of it. It's important. Right? Because we can tell, anyone with a brain, that when an article like this comes out, hours after this story comes out, when the main thing they should be saying is, oh, this happened to him, let's keep everybody sucked in emotionally and all this stuff, they have to immediately deflect. Because they don't even want you, they're afraid that people suddenly are going to see that he was promoting it and then start talking about it. So they want this out beforehand, so that it drowns out any other narratives that are out there, and this automatically puts up a protective wall. We see it the right way. Everybody else out there, this mind control works on them, believe it or not. That's why they constantly do it. They wouldn't do it unless it worked. And it does. And we look at it and we laugh. We're like, how are people, blah, 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 how are people believing this? Because they're stupid. So the article goes on to say, when the anti-potion crowd loves few things more than rushing to baselessly claim the death of every potion celebrity on the one-niner, and X has mutated into an ugly front of disinformation under Elon Musk rule. And of course, that's another narrative that's out there that I need to cover more. I covered in the beginning. This whole thing, they're acting like X is, oh, people are running amok with misinformation. There's a huge false flag coming from something on X. We can all see that, right? You get the whole thing where they're like, they're letting them post on something that's anti-this. There's going to be something with bagels on X. It's going to lead to something, and it'll be another way to usher in more censorship on the internet. That's all done by design because Elon Musk is one of them. So anyway, they go, the ugly front of disinformation under Elon Musk's rule. Their decision to do so with Perry is especially sickening, given the star's long, detailed history of health problems stemming from his addiction issues. Perry said his substance, they haven't even given a cause of death yet, so it seems kind of important for them to like put this article out. I can continue on, but I mean, they're promoting the fact that he had other problems to try to drown out any narrative of this. And of course, this also keeps people completely divided and gets people angry, right? People who are potion get very angry by this stuff. They get very triggered by it. I don't get triggered when I see it. I just, I see this stuff and I go, let me just see how they're spinning it. What's the narrative? What's the mind control? And then you see guys weeping on YouTube and you just go, this is the problem. This is why I just look at this stuff and I'm like, what am I even supposed to do at this point? Minimal YouTube channel. I can't really reach anybody anymore. Every time I try, I get shut down to reach new people. Everybody gets frustrated. People stop subbing, blah, blah, blah. And then I see people like that. I'm like, is there a point anymore when people are acting and behaving like kids? And then they're like, what's wrong with how I'm acting and behaving? It's like, look, we all make mistakes. I mean, but you got to grow up at some point, right? And you might say, fine, it's okay for him to have adult toys because they normalized that. If 10 years ago, if you saw a grown man with a toy collection, you'd be like, whoa, he's a flamer or something's wrong with him. Now it's so normal because YouTube promotes that type of stuff. And people don't realize whether they're going back to all this retro stuff is because they feel so off with the way the world is. Instead of facing that, they just try to act like kids again because it was a time where everybody felt better and safer, right? So they start acting like children again when we need men to act like men and people to stand up. So they've obviously, when you see a guy doing that, you might say to yourself, well, I don't know, because you've been desensitized to it. But you don't even have to look at the fact that the guy's like into all the kid stuff. Just look at how he's crying over this. He's crying. This isn't his mother, his father. This isn't even his pet, which are all understandable to cry over. I mean, this guy, let me put it in perspective. I hope people are listening. Let me put it in perspective. This guy is crying over somebody he's never met. But the crisis actors that we see, specifically even at the last event up in Maine, that show up on TV, whose children perished suddenly, perfectly healthy, a couple hours before, they don't even utter a tear. I mean, at the Hook and Sandy, nobody was uttering a tear, were they? No, they weren't, right? But this guy's uttering a tear over Matthew Perry. Shows you how twisted and insane this world truly is. Let me know. I'm curious what people think about this in the comment section. Obviously, I find it frustrating because the more I think about what this is going to lead to and what's going to happen here, I realize that, we don't have anybody really around us. And if we all join forces as far as, getting near each other, living near each other, et cetera, well, they'll label us a cult, they'll Waco us. So it's a dead end. And you say, oh, well, just find people around you, protect your neighborhood, protect where you are, and this is what's around you. You think that guy's going to stand up and do anything? I mean, let's be real. And when you have 1 million subs like that, I don't give a crap how many subs anybody has, but when you have 1 million subs, you're reaching a lot of people, and a lot of those people are just getting watered down as well. You become softer and softer, more emo and more emo. And then when it comes time for them to take away all our rights, these people just go, all right, take our rights away. Can I still have my toys? And they don't realize that they're adult babies. Okay? It's absolutely frightening to me. I thank everybody for being here. I appreciate you guys so much. God bless all you guys always and your families. Hey everybody, welcome to my neat, cool, brand new channel. I'm a brand new YouTuber, and it seems like people are enjoying my content because it's getting quite amount of views, and I can tell I'm on my way to skyrocketing to YouTube fame and popularity. Maybe the next PewDiePie, maybe the next Logan Paul. Is he one of the popular ones, famous ones out there? I don't know. But Anyway, I was trying to figure out what I could do a really important video on, and somebody had asked me to do one on the most horrifying bagels ever invented. And the first thing I thought of was, well, I could tell you who the most horrifying bagels ever invented are, and I could specifically tell you where to find them. But I decided, well, there was only a couple bagels that were really gross, like green bagels for St. Patrick's Day. And again, I mean, I could name 7 horrifying looking bagels like the rainbow bagel or the green bagel, which, by the way, if you've ever been to the store and seen these rainbow bagels, who is buying these? I mean, how much food dye are you looking to get? I mean, are you really looking to fry yourself and give yourself some type of, I don't know, some type of food dye poisoning? But anyway, so what I decided to do was take a look at some of the most disgusting casseroles I could possibly find, like the one you're seeing on your screen, which looks like a combination of red and green peppers, boiled eggs, vomit, and cat food, right? So let's take a look. These are actually real recipes. Now, I don't have enough time to read every single one, but these were some of the recipes from the list. You have this 7-layer casserole. I mean, what is somebody thinking who's making this? Not to mention the fact that Hunt's tomato sauce is not real tomato sauce, but just mixing this combination. Let's just get started with some of the ones that'll really make you cringe, because I took a peek at some of these, and I'll tell you right now, there are some that might make you dry heave while watching this video. I couldn't even believe it. My stomach actually hurts from looking at some of them. So number 43, even though I'm only going to pick some of these off of this list, was pepped up beef hash, which looks like dog food inside of a pepper. It's just looking for a way to make corned beef hash more appetizing. Serve it stuffed and baked in a pepper. The finishing touch for this dish is a squeeze of ketchup and a little horseradish. So this right here is right up your alley for a colon cleanse, like a lot of the other ones were. And so is this one. Coleslaw in cabbage, which I guess wouldn't be the most disgusting thing ever, but it certainly looks disgusting. If you were at somebody's house for like a Super Bowl party, or say you were at a wedding and you saw this, I mean, would you pick it up and launch it like a soccer ball, or would you eat it? I mean, I'd feel more drawn to kick this thing to save somebody's life from giving them permanent diarrhea. All right, here's the next one. Does this say spaghettis? I don't know. This looks absolutely nauseating. Oof. At first glance, there's nothing especially unusual. No, it looks pretty unusual. It is spaghetti covered with tomato sauce. That does not look like tomato sauce. That looks like cranberry sauce or strawberry sauce. It certainly doesn't. I mean, I got some Italian here. I don't think that anybody who's Italian would look at that as tomato sauce, or as we call it, the gravy. But closer inspection, you'll notice it doesn't look quite right. The sauce has a sticky jam-like quality, and those pasta strands are starting to melt. This dish is actually spaghetti's an ice cream sundae. Ooh, that was invented in the 1960s Germany. I'm surprised they didn't bring this over with Operation Paperclip. Then again, if you believe the people from there actually came over, or a combination of the group. But anyway, let's move on. We got curry in a hurry. And I mean, does that not look disgusting? I mean, I'm not a fan of curry, but that doesn't look very appealing. In a rush, take a shortcut and make curry in a hurry with a couple quick tricks from Almer and Gold Seal Tin Foods. Are they still around? As detailed in this 1970s recipe. All you need is tuna, cream of chicken soup, peach slices, mushrooms, onions, curry powder, almonds. And we imagine a stomach of steel. Well, that's pretty accurate. Not only does it sound horrific, but it doesn't look appealing. I mean, I don't know who's mixing vegetables, fruit on the same plate, and then cream of chicken soup. Oh, man. Got a death wish. All right, let's move on. We got veg all tuna casserole. So I don't know I didn't know what this was when I passed by it, but apparently this comes in a can. Whatever this is it veggies mixed with tuna? I mean, this idea went out, this thing went out of business pretty fast. This whole idea of veg all tuna. But it says tuna noodle casserole. It was a massive hit in the 50s. It still is. I think some people like tuna noodle. I keep saying noodle casserole, but it says it was a cheap and easy way to feed the family. No such thing as that anymore. However, it's hard enough to feed one person, trust me. However, this veg all tuna casserole, made with tinned mixed vegetables, tuna, chopped onion, Worcester sauce, breadcrumbs, and cheese, takes things a step too far. You can say that again. I mean, you can't crack enough Imodium. I mean, maybe this video should be sponsored by Imodium, because this one next, when I first looked at all the ones I'm bringing you, this one made me literally dry heave. Spaghetti meatball sundae. Ugh. I mean, it doesn't even need to include ice cream. It's just the whole idea of eating spaghetti and a meatball. I mean, I guess it's like that thing they call MK Ultra, not that I know what that is. Maybe it's some type of mind control tactic. I don't know anything about mind control or anything, that kind of stuff. This channel's about cool, fun recipes, but that is the type of thing, if I saw it in person and someone served it to me, I probably would need to run to the women's room, because of course I choose the women's room over the men's room, but that's my personal choice, so please don't judge me for that. So anyway, a savory dish that looks like a sweet treat isn't likely to fly with kids today, but Chef Boyardee was pretty proud of this illusion. It insisted that children would love its spaghetti meatball. So yeah, that's not marketing mind control, I don't know what it is. And that it was nourishing too. There's nothing nourishing about Chef Boyardee, is there? I mean, whether or not you've got a preference for Chef Boyardee, nourishing? What nutrients are in Chef Boyardee's canned gravy pasta here? Ugh. Either tin spaghetti and meatballs have massively deteriorated in quality since the 70s, or this advert is overselling itself. All right, let's move on. This is another one that, Campbell's meatloaf 3 ways. In the late 1960s, Campbell suggested 3 new ways to present meatloaf. Home cooks were encouraged to try it frosted with mashed potatoes and drizzle of mushroom soup formed into a giant meatball to serve over spaghetti. With tomato soup, or perhaps the most horrifying, shaped like a bundt cake and glazed with cheese soup. I mean, I don't know about you, but it looks like something else to me. But anyway, all right, this is nasty too. Number 24 on this list was tuna cheese witches. I had no idea what this was when I looked at it, but I was imagining that they were putting cheese on tuna. Let's just read it. American food manufacturer Kraft, well, that's all we need to know, is known for its bizarre recipes, and this 1953 creation is no different, offering a new take on the classic tuna melt. A mayonnaise packed tuna salad is piled on to 2 slices of toasted bread, wrapped with Kraft Deluxe slices, then baked until the American cheese is gooey and melty. So why wouldn't you just put it on the inside? Right? Why would you put it on the? How are we supposed to pick it up? Isn't that the point of a grilled cheese? Right? Is that the cheese is inside the bread? If the cheese is on the outside of the bread, are you interested in getting sticky fingers? I mean, how would you even pick it up? All right, let's just move on. Now this is where we start to get real gross here. Spam Britney. So anything with spam. I don't know. I've met people who actually have, who are like, oh, I guess maybe their parents gave them spam at a young age. I mean, I guess it's almost the equivalent of a hot dog, but mystery meat. I think we all know what the mystery is in the meat, right? Probably spam included. We know what's in the mystery meat at McDonald's. All you got to do is find your local, what center that's getting all that meat supplying it to McDonald's. We can't get into that here either. So in the 1960s, spam made regular appearances at dinner tables in the U.S., having soared in popularity during World War II. This recipe for Spam Britney, published in Women's Day in 1967, jazzes it up by alternating meat slices with apple and then finishing it with orange, marmalade glaze, and I guess it's just the whole notion. It's not even, what it's glazed in. It's just having spam at dinner. I mean, this is like the equivalent of eating Z-Bugs, is it not? I mean, it's pretty much the same thing. I mean, you can't tell me that that's real meat. All right, let's move on. We got Emerald Isle. I have no idea what this is. Baby onions and watery spinach with a runny cream sauce. Doesn't sound appetizing in the slightest, which could explain why Bird's Eye disguised the dish as Emerald Isle in the 1960s advertisement. It's shown served with crispy bacon, but even that doesn't help its appearance, with the dish looking and sounding confused and horrifying. I'm trying to get a closer look. I'm more like amazed at all of these companies that went out of business, but I'm sure they didn't really go out of business. They just were bought out by the likes of Kraft, since they all kind of merged into one, right? But that looks like a green Jello mold or something. I'm gonna move on here. Remember, I can only do 15-minute videos, so okay. Next up, we got Toast Basket a la King. Ugh. I mean, can you imagine? As bad as the world is today, which is bad. I'd rather be alive in the 60s and 50s. But when you see like cookbooks today and the recipes, they're all like fancy, they're all like appealing. Was anybody like getting this in a magazine? They're like home at 6, dinner at 6:20. Might want to just pass on having dinner altogether because you might be up all night. I mean, this is a creamy chicken dish which was popular in the 20th century. Let's see. White bread is spread with margarine, baked in the oven, then topped with a tin of Swanson chicken a la King. We're not sure a recipe for how to pour tin food over toast is strictly. Let's move on. Oh, this might be worse than the spaghetti. This might be worse. Ooh, pretty pickle tower. And I don't have anything against pickles, but they don't need to be combined. You want to have a pickle on your sandwich, you want to have a pickle in general, you want to have a pickle on a burger. I mean, it's pickled casseroles. Anyway, if you're searching for a table decoration, don't do this. People will be jumping out your windows to get out of the house. If you're searching for a table decoration that's functional and filling, look no further than Alice Anderson's recipe. Yeah, it was Alice. Alice probably Eastern Star. Was she arrested for crimes against humanity? Because this sure looks like one. Let's see. If you're wondering how to make it, and even if you aren't, it's a wedge of cheese with the base trim so it stands upright, and it's studded with Heinz pickle slices and pickled onions and toothpicks. All right, let's move. Oh, here's another one. Meat hog. Do I even need to read this? I mean, what is this? I mean, is this raw meat? I mean, you're probably better off. I don't know, but let's see. Cute little hedgehog molded from raw meat. The German dish known as Hackebetter sees raw minced pork, seasoned with salt, spread generously over bread or toast. However, okay, did they cook it? Because I mean, it just looks like raw meat. All right, let's move on. Number 10, silhouette salad. This looks like another one of those deals where they're just jamming chicken into a Jello mold. Oh man. All right, I'm gonna move on. I'm running out of time here. Number 9, Frank and corn crown. Well, looks like a popular dish in San Francisco, but not where I'm from. Let's move on. Number 8, surprise mayonnaise mold. Oh, what? Oh man, a mold of mayo. I mean, I could just hear the person eating it having a stroke as they eat it. Anyway, number 6, hot dog plate. They got a lot of hot dogs mixed into these. Hot dog plate, which looks disgusting. Hot dogs, with chili. Hot dogs don't look cooked. They look like plastic hot dogs. Anyway, number 5, fruit mayonnaise with roast chicken. That sounds disgusting. Mayonnaise and fruit. Let me just move on here. Number 2, patio platter. From Miracle Whip. Oh my goodness. Could you be arrested for putting this out in a magazine these days? Okay, I only have a short time left here, but that is a platter made from Miracle Whip, folks. That is like literally a Jello mold of Miracle Whip. I've never had Miracle Whip, and I don't want to try it. And last but not least, the winner, according to this website I found it on, ham and bananas hollandaise, which looks like ham and bananas wrapped together, covered in buttery hollandaise sauce and baked. That's a hard no for me. I don't know about anybody else out there. Anyway, running out of time here, but I want to thank everyone who is here who supports the channel. I can only do 15-minute videos, so I submit my phone number, so I'm not doing that yet. But more content to come. Bye, everybody.